Everyone, welcome to the Never Stop Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, D. D loves wrestling, the host of the Never Stop Wrestling Podcast. What a great NXT show that we had last night. I feel like it was action packed, and you know who stole the show? The entire women's division. The women's division throughout NXT, despite the call ups that happened with Roxanne Perez leaving, Stephanie Vaquer, and as well as one of my favorites, Julia, leaving NXT, being called up to the main roster. This show just showcased how great and how deep this NXT women's division goes. And this is just a sample of how talented the women in NXT are. We also got to see, I love this version of heel Trick Williams with the TNA World Championship. Yes, the TNA World title is still still around Trick Williams' waist, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a fan of it. I like seeing this side of Trick Williams teaming up with AJ Francis. Great pair up. I feel like the tag match that they had was great last night. And how can we forget about the glamour? The glamour. Mariah May made her contract signing official last night. Not Mariah May. Let me mistake myself. It's going to take some time getting used to. Blake Monroe has officially signed with NXT, and what a way that ended. I don't think I've ever seen a contract signing end the way that Blake Monroe's contract signing ended. When I was watching it, I was like, someone's going to, come out and help Blake, right? No? Really? But we're going to dive into that, my opinion on it. So let's get started here. Let's talk about how good, in my opinion, this show was from NXT. And let's dive right into it. We started out with Jada Parker and Thea Hale. They had a tournament of who is going to face JC Jane at Evolution for the NXT Women's Championship. Jada Parker and Thea Hale, they put on a great show to open up NXT. Was kind of feeling that Thea Hale was going to win towards the end of NXT, of the opener match of NXT. Jada Parker somewhat tapped at the end of the match. Thea Hale thought that she was the winner. Jada Parker actually did tap, just the referee didn't see it. He didn't acknowledge it. Like my tribal chief, he didn't acknowledge the tap. Thea Hale saw it, so she thought that she was going to win. The ref didn't see it. If the ref doesn't see it, hey, that's wrestling. We know that, guys. And then Jada Parker comes in with the hypnotic and just takes out Thea Hale. If I got hit with Jada Parker's finisher, I'd be lights out. I would be done. It would be game over for me. Miss Parker, you could get the 1, 2, 3. I'm done after that. There is no shot that I'm kicking out of Jada Parker's finisher. And everyone say what you want about it, that would hurt. That finisher looks brutal. Thea Hale did a great job of selling that. Ugh. God damn. That looks like it hurts. So Jada Parker is moving on. The Fatal 4-Way for whoever wins the Fatal 4-Way next week on NXT will face JC Jane at Evolution in a one-on-one match for the NXT Women's Championship. So we have Jada Parker in the beginning of the show qualifying for the Fatal 4-Way for next week's NXT. Then we have, these aren't in order. I kind of forget the order of how everything went last night. But the next match I'm going to go over, Izzy Dame against Zarya. Now, my opinion with Zarya, when she got signed to the WWE, I was actually there. I was actually there when she first appeared in the crowd. I thought it was really cool. I didn't know really too much about her, but when I started seeing her on NXT, and when they just started showing her, the vignettes and everything, I'm like, this girl is badass. Zarya is a friggin' sick girl, dude. She is really, really cool. She looks the part. She's strong as hell. And in ring, she's great. I don't like the way they book her, though. They don't book her like the way. This is all in my opinion. The way I view Zarya, and just her presence, the way you look, what she looks like. She looks like a powerhouse, dude. She looks scary as hell. We gotta book her to be like the next Brock Lesnar. Seriously, like a scary looking Brock Lesnar. Like in the nicest way possible. Like she's scary because she is jacked as hell. Just like Jordan Grace. So why am I explaining this about Zarya? Because not that I'm saying Izzy Dame shouldn't win, because the culling needs some elevation to it. So I understand the move of Izzy Dame winning. And especially the way it ended. Zarya technically didn't lose clean, which is good. I like that decision, I'm not going to lie. If Zarya lost clean, then we would have a different discussion. Tatum Paxley came out, gave Sol Ruka a hug. Sol Ruka screamed like she was in a horror film. And it scared Zarya. The best friends, the dynamic duo, Zaruka. Zarya got scared. She turned behind her, and then when she turned back around, bam, Izzy bomb. Boom. It is what it is, as Izzy Dame would say. Izzy Dame got the win. She's moving on. So it's Jada Parker right now and Izzy Dame as I'm currently discussing the matches. There are 2 more matches that happened tonight as well. We're going to dive into those as well. I didn't get to really explain my thoughts about, I don't know why, I skipped over my thoughts about the Jada Parker and Thea Hale match. I'm glad Jada Parker won. I liked what they were doing when Roxanne Perez was NXT Women's Champion, because Jada Parker, we have women in the division that were getting pushed like Jada Parker, Lola Vice. You even saw Jordan Grace get in some action as well. I feel like we haven't seen some of these women that are qualifying in this Fatal 4-Way tournament thing to face JC Jane at Evolution. A lot of the women in these matches for the qualifying matches to get to the Fatal 4-Way, and the women who made it to the Fatal 4-Way, I feel like felt underappreciated for the last few months when it comes to getting their chance at the NXT Women's Championship. I feel like now the landscape is wide open for anyone being able to become the next NXT Women's Champion. And I love that. And that's not discrediting, that's not saying, oh, Roxanne, Stephanie, and Julia, they hogged it all. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Now we're creating stars. We don't have solidified superstars in the NXT women's division anymore. We have stars. Now we're in the process of, we can make the entire division into mega stars now from the ground up. And I love that. And I love that right away, right with the NXT call-ups happening between Stephanie, Julia, and Roxanne as they're doing their thing on the main roster. They're doing very well. Now we're going to see women like Izzy Dame pick up a big win. Like, I feel like we wouldn't have seen that if we backtrack to a month and a half, 2-3 months ago. Or even seeing Thea Hale actually almost pick up a win. And I'm glad that we're seeing someone like Jada Parker enter herself back into the title picture. As well as someone like a Lola Vice, who we will talk about this match right now. Lola Vice against Jordan Grace. This match was phenomenal. When it comes to the it main evented the show, as in it was the final match of the show. The Blake Monroe segment was the actual last part of the NXT show. Lola and Jordan Grace was the final main event match, though. And this did not disappoint whatsoever. These two ladies absolutely had a phenomenal showing. I'm not going to lie, I'm going to give a hot take right now. This was probably the greatest Lola Vice match I've seen. And Lola Vice, she's had the underground matches. She had the amazing 2300 match that I was actually there to witness against Jada Parker. That was a great match as well. we saw a few things, I feel like, from both ladies, from Jordynne Grace as well. Jordynne Grace, we know what Jordynne Grace brings to the table. That's why I wasn't so surprised with Jordynne Grace. I know what she can do in the ring, and not saying that I'm not impressed with it. I'm just saying, more so on Lola Vice's end, I feel like we got to see a better showcasing of her in-ring ability and just giving her a longer match to really showcase herself as well. This was a great match from Jordynne and Lola Vice. And shout out to Jordynne Grace. I think this could be an opportunity where she does get her NXT Women's Championship. I thought for a second that Jordynne Grace was going to be moved up. That was a rumor going around, moving up to SmackDown, maybe being involved into the mid-card women's title scene with the US Championship, because we all know that the US Championship is in it needs some revamping in the U.S. title picture. I'm so glad that Julia is being the main catalyst to be the next up when it comes to obtaining the U.S. Women's Championship. But I genuinely thought that Jordynne Grace was also going to be moved up as well. She's not, but that's good because Jordynne Grace, we don't need the rush Jordynne Grace. We don't need to rush anyone. If there's nothing for people onto the main roster, have them in NXT. Jordynne Grace has only been with the company officially. I know she made some appearances while she was in TNA, but she's only been officially signed for, what, 4 months? Let this girl be in NXT for a year and a half, 2 years. Let her run it. Let her run the show with Blake Monroe. And, I mean, in 2 years, we can say, like, Kaylani Jordan could be one of the top stars in NXT in the women's division. Let someone like Jordynne Grace, I think she's going to get her moment against JC Jane at Evolution. I feel like that would be a great match as well. Shout out to JC Jane. Very underrated, very underappreciated. But I like what she is able to do as a character. She's a heel champion. The last time we saw a heel NXT Women's Champion, it was Roxanne Perez, and it was a great title reign. I'm not saying that JC Jane is going to have the same impact of a title reign as Roxanne Perez, but when you're a heel champion, these babyface characters that are walking into the title picture, you're going to help elevate them because if you're a great heel, that's what you're going to do. So we need to give JC Jane credit for that, and as well as Roxanne Perez's entire NXT Women's title reign as well. Back to what I was saying though about Jordynne Grace and Lola Vice, phenomenal match. I'm glad that Jordynne Grace won. I think Lola Vice's time is coming up though. I think her time to maybe get the NXT Women's Championship hopefully is coming in the near future. But just like with Lola Vice, like what I said about Jordynne Grace and also like Blake Monroe, you don't need the rush, some of these superstars. We know that a lot of the superstars in NXT, they have a lot of time to, we're not running out of time. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. In a short term, that's what I'm trying to say. But that doesn't mean that we should completely sideline some people just because we have a ton of time as well. I feel like this match was a great showcase of showing that Lola Vice has what it takes to be potentially in that main title scene, just like with someone like a Jordynne Grace. Because it seemed like at one point Lola Vice was being pushed to be, this is just the way I was viewing it at the time. Roxanne Perez was champion at this time. It was when they were feuding, but the way they were pushing Lola Vice, she was on TV every week. She was wrestling every week. She was cutting a ton of promos. She was sort of trying to dip her toes into the NXT North American Championship, Women's North American Championship scene. She was all over the place. And then there just got to a point where I guess like with so much talent being involved in NXT at one time, they kind of fell short with some superstars in the locker room. But now that, the landscape has opened up, we can see someone like a Thea Hale, a Lola Vice, a Izzy Dame, showcasing their in-ring abilities, their character work, how good they are, talent-wise, in-ring-wise, you name it. So this match was great. I'm glad it ended the show, as in the final match of the show, because everyone was off their feet, like mid-match and also at the end of the match. I don't think anyone was angry about the winner or loser. They were just happy that these two put on an absolute show, and you got to give them credit. Next up, we have the six-man tag match where Trick Williams teamed up with AJ Francis, and it was funny because Corey Graves actually called AJ Francis Top Dollar mid-commentary, and then he corrected himself. He said AJ Francis. I thought that was funny. Against Elijah, formerly known as Elias, and Josh Briggs and Yoshi. My boy Yoshi picking up the dub. My boy Yoshi. Freaking getting the 1-2-3 against Trick Willie. Give Yoshi a title shot. It's about damn time. When I was there at Vengeance Day, it was Yoshi, Josh Briggs against Fraxium, I think. They ended up losing, but the crowd was so electric for Yoshi. I think it was one of Yoshi's first matches because this is quite a few months ago. I see so much potential in Yoshi. I'm not even kidding with you. I see so much potential with what he brings to the table when it comes to energy wise. And he's good in the ring as well. Even if it's just a one-off where Yoshi faces Trick Williams for the TNA Championship, or oh no, he gave that opportunity to Josh Briggs actually. I think Yoshi wants to go for the NXT Championship against Obafemi. That would be a great match, dude. Those two in the ring together, Yoshi and Obafemi. Not saying Yoshi has to win, but just give Yoshi that spotlight. I know he can definitely perform and put on a great show with someone like Obafemi. But this match was great. I love seeing heel Trick Williams and how good of a worker he is as a heel. I'm almost at the point to where I don't really want to see babyface Trick Williams anytime soon. I think NXT just needs to help develop a phenomenal babyface like Trick Williams was, but don't have it be Trick Williams. Have it be another superstar. I don't think Obafemi can fit that babyface that Trick Williams was prior to him turning heel. No, I can't really give you a name right now of who that might be able to be, but I trust Shawn Michaels. I can definitely see NXT um, either creating a mega baby face to be like what Trick Williams was, where he was on top of the world when it comes to NXT terms, or they maybe could sign someone as well, and it's just a mega baby face from either AEW, TNA, New Japan, you name it. The match was great though. I love seeing. It was crazy. Yoshi pinning Trick. I thought that was pretty cool, unexpected, and now they're giving Yoshi and Josh Briggs, some spotlight. So we're gonna see Trick Williams and Josh Briggs face off next Tuesday for the TNA World Championship. I doubt Trick's gonna lose it, but you might know. They might tease it a little bit. I think it's gonna be a great match. I don't see Trick Williams losing the title though. But this six-man tag match was great. Absolutely great. Now, the last women's qualifying match for the Fatal 4-Way for next week to potentially face JC Jane for the NXT Women's Championship, we have Kaylani Jordan against Lash Legend. I'm not going to lie here. Lash Legend might take this all when it comes to winning the Fatal 4-Way. And then if she wins the Fatal 4-Way to face JC Jane, we might see the Bougie Bully as your NXT Women's Champion. I'm not going to lie, I don't think that's a hot take at all. If there were betting odds on that, I'd put my house on it. The Bougie Bully being your next NXT Women's Champion. But shout out to Kaylani Jordan. I got to give it to Kaylani. Every time Kaylani wrestles, it's like a female version of Carmelo Hayes. And I'm not just saying that because they're dating. Like, literally, their in-ring styles are so similar to each other, and I love it. I hope they do take notes off each other. That's really cool. I definitely see some shades of Mello and Kaylani, and also Kaylani and Carmelo Hayes. So I think that's really cool. They put on a great match as well. Obviously, what I was just talking about before, Kaylani didn't pick up the win. Kaylani's another one where she can easily be the next because she's such a good baby face. They tried her as a heel. I think they kind of just gave up with that. It doesn't seem like she's a heel anymore. Kaylani as a baby face just gives me so much Bianca Belair. It really does. She's just so natural at just being herself. You can tell that's just her being authentic when she is a baby face on TV. At least from what I've seen in person, like I've been in the crowd for Halloween Havoc, I think it was, and they were doing an interview like by the stage, and we were on the floor. We were pretty, me, my brother, and my friend, we were pretty close to where she was standing, and we were calling out Kaylani's name. We were like, Kaylani, hi, and then like they were about to shoot the interview, and then she takes the time to like look over to see who's like yelling, and then like she waved at us and everything. It was really cool. Like you could just tell like Kaylani is a great person, great wrestler, great worker, great everything. So it was. I think Kaylani's time is also coming up, just like Lola Vice, Jada Parker, Izzy Dame, Thea Hale. The whole NXT women's division is going to get their time, I believe, in the next year and two. I think we're going to see a lot of different title reigns. But the Bougie Bully, she's moving on. You might see her as your next NXT Women's Champion. I would not be surprised if Lash Legend, pulls out a couple eyelashes and she kind of drops it on JC Jane, and that theme song's pretty fire. I'm doing the little Oba Femi dance to that, or the Trick Willie. Shout out to Trick Willie. I'm sure Lash Legend would like that. But now, what I really wanted to talk about, especially on this shorter episode of the podcast, Blake Monroe official signing. I didn't say Mariah May this time. Blake Monroe. That was Blake Monroe out there. Her official signing, the NXT contract. Ava was out there. You know the whole contract signing segments, right? Supposed to be happy-go-lucky. Maybe one person comes out, they have a little confrontation, and that's really it. Nothing too extreme. Usually it's just talking back and forth. So Blake Monroe, so good at talking. I see a lot of signs of Toni Storm, and she plays the character of this older soul, like a Marilyn Monroe, very well. Like no one, at least in NXT, delivers promos like her. I'm just seeing it in this one segment alone. Just the way she talks, her accent, the way she delivers the lines as well. She's definitely great on the mic. And I'm going based off, by saying this, I've seen her in AEW as well. So I've seen her promos in AEW, and she's so good at being a heel, dude. I think she's going to be a babyface in NXT, but when that heel turn happens, dude, oh my god. I feel like she'll really flourish as a heel, but she's a great babyface as well. I think we're going to see her as a babyface for quite a bit, but she'll do great at either or. So she signs the contract. She's basically saying this is her division now. She's a big signing for the company, especially with the call-ups happening. Now they got Blake Monroe into the division. And then we got Fatal Influence coming out. If I was champion and a newbie came in, this is not discrediting by saying newbie. I'm just trying to make a silly joke by saying she's brand new to the company as a whole. Like she wasn't even here previously. Blake Monroe is brand new to WWE. It was her dream her entire career, and now she's finally here. Congratulations to Blake. If I was the champion of the company that I was in, and someone who just showed up said that that's her division now, I don't blame JC Jane and Fatal Influence for coming out. I do not blame them at all. So JC Jane comes out with Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix. JC Jane basically says, like, what we've done for the division is just going unnoticed now because the new flavor of the month wants to just show up and act like everything is about her, but that's not how it goes around here. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just so hyped to see Blake Monroe in the WWE. So like when JC Jane was saying that, I'm like, has Fatal Influence really done too much to change the division? I think when we're talking about changing the division, we can seriously say, like, Roxanne definitely did a great change to the women's division. Like, when Roxanne was champion, it's got to be one of the greatest women's NXT championship reigns ever, right? I mean, maybe with Charlotte as well. That championship reign was great, and it elevated a lot of superstars in the process. That can be considered as changing the division. Fatal Influence, I don't know. I don't know. I like them. I like them, but changing the division, I don't know. I think that's a stretch. So when she was saying, when JC Jane was saying that, I'm looking at Blake Monroe and I'm like, you don't even gotta worry. You don't even gotta worry. You could take them all on. And Blake, she snapped back, and rightfully so. She's not just gonna stand there and take what JC Jane was telling to her, as well as Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix. They're basically just hounding her, saying that we built this and you're just new and you're going to only last for like 2 months, and then the WWE universe is not going to appreciate you or like you anymore, which is totally false, but they're being heels. Gotta appreciate that. So Blake Monroe, she slapped JC Jam. Just a little slap. Let's just say Fatal Influence didn't like that, though. Blake Monroe gets sent to the floor, and I'm like, okay, someone's going to come out, help Blake Monroe. Blake Monroe's going to have an ally now. I got it. JC Jane's saying, get her ass up. I'm like, oh, yeah. She's cursing, too. Yeah, someone's coming out. Fallon Henley and JC Jane, they got her in the position to put her through the table. And I'm like, all right, gotta cut the Def Rebel music. Like, even if yo boys bounce it, like, how they always do the slogan thing before the song actually happens. I was waiting to hear something. And nothing happened. Blake Monroe was sent through the table for her contract signing. Definitely a weird way to go about it, because she's not in the potential qualifying matches to face JC Jane at Evolution. So where does she get her lick back? And if she does want to get her lick back, I would assume that she's not going to cost her the title. I would assume that Blake Monroe would want to take the title from JC Jane. I don't know where they're going with how they ended the contract signing. I'm a little confused. I can't lie. I'm not saying it was bad. I just don't know the direction that they're going to go in for. I would assume that Blake's going to be on next week's NXT. Maybe she forces herself into a fatal 5-way next week and she wins, and then she faces JC Jane at Evolution, beats JC Jane. Now she's our new champion. Blake Monroe would be the new NXT Women's Champion. I don't know. But doing that, I feel like that's kind of discrediting what the 4 winners of this past week's, as I'm recording this past week's NXT, the 4 women who moved on had to fight, one match to begin with to even be qualified for the match. Having Blake Monroe just step in like that, I don't know. That's kind of messed up. And she's brand new. So this is a weird position. I don't know what they can do instantly for Blake to get her revenge on JC Jane or Fallon Henley or Jasmine Nix. It's got to be towards JC Jane. She's the only one that has something that is credible and that could be something that Blake Monroe wants. So I honestly have no prediction besides what I just said. Maybe Blake Monroe forces herself into the Fatal 4-Way qualifying match for Evolution. But by doing that, that's kind of odd. I don't know, just the way that they ended the contract signing, it kind of leaves me questioning. Like, I don't know where they're going about this. I mean, if you guys have ideas, drop them down below. I would love to hear it because I'm genuinely confused. It surprised me last night when I got done watching NXT. I'm like, oh, no one came out. No one even helped her. Even like after she got put through the table. At least we could form something like, oh, maybe we're going to see a tag team match. Blake Monroe and Kaylani Jordan face Fallon Henley and JC Jane on next week's NXT. No, we can't even say something like that because no one helped out Blake. No one even came out at all. So that's definitely going to be something to watch for next week. I gave my one prediction, but I don't really like that prediction. I'm not going to lie. I feel like that's a bad take. But you never know in WWE. You never know in pro wrestling. But that is, I was going to end it right there. No, I got to talk about the presentation of her entrance and everything like that. I don't know how I skipped over that. Great presentation. The theme song for Blake Monroe is great. Fits her so well. Sabrina Carpenter-esque kind of music. I love it. I'm not sure if it's Def Rebel. I'm not going to lie. For a second, I thought it was Sabrina Carpenter singing the song for a second. And I was like, this is perfect. WWE spending the bag on Blake Monroe. I don't think they did. I don't think it was Sabrina Carpenter. But I love the presentation. I love the catchphrase for Blake Monroe. A lot of people are kind of mad because Def Rebel always does that. Before the song hits, they always have their catchphrase. I don't know. Blake Monroe's kind of fits. I kind of like it. But I love the Titantron for her. You know, the lights of her standing there. Just very, very. It fits her. It fits her very well. And I was impressed when I saw it. I was like, please don't mess this up for her. Please don't. But no, it was very good. I feel like they did a great job with the whole choreography for the entrance as well. Very, very good. Just questioning about the end of the segment. I don't know where they're going to go for next week, but I'm kind of excited. It's like a cliffhanger. We will see. We will see what Blake Monroe, the Glamour, will do next week to either JC Jane, Fallon Henley, Jasmine Nix. We'll see. We'll find out next week on the next week's NXT podcast. But to recap this episode, this is a great episode. Just wanted to talk about NXT for a little bit. The NXT episodes will definitely be a little bit shorter than the main roster ones, like Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, especially PLEs. So, yeah, just wanted to talk about NXT for a little bit, my takes on the matches, the segments, all the good stuff with wrestling. So, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in, listening, watching, whatever, however you're watching this right now. Drop a comment, like, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the podcast. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next episode.